Beloved, I am here to tell you how this chapter of your life will conclude. The outcome has already been written in my book, and it declares victory over your life. What I have prepared for you will leave you speechless. The breakthrough that is coming will be so complete, so undeniable, so thoroughly saturated with my fingerprints that everyone who witnesses it will know beyond any shadow of doubt that only I could have orchestrated this kind of transformation. What started with tears streaming down your face in the middle of the night will finish with joy overflowing from a heart that has been made whole. What commenced in uncertainty, in fear, in the suffocating weight of circumstances that seem too heavy to bear, will conclude in triumph that is so complete, so undeniable, so thoroughly saturated with my fingerprints that everyone who witnesses it will know beyond any shadow of doubt that only I could have orchestrated this kind of turnaround. You have been walking through a season that tested you in ways you never anticipated. When this chapter of your life began, you had no idea how intense the pressure would become. You had no concept of how deep the refining process would go. You could not have imagined the number of tears you would cry, the sleepless nights you would endure, the moments when you would question whether you had the strength to take even one more step forward. This season asked more of you than you thought you had to give. It demanded a level of faith that felt impossible to maintain. It required you to keep believing when every shred of visible evidence suggested that believing was the most foolish thing you could possibly do. But you did it anyway. You kept going when quitting would have been so much easier. You kept praying when your prayers felt like they were disappearing into a void. You kept trusting me when trust made absolutely no logical sense based on what you could see with your natural eyes. And that perseverance, that stubborn refusal to let go of me no matter how dark things got, has positioned you for a breakthrough that is about to shatter every limitation the enemy tried to impose on your life. Let me tell you what has really been happening during this season. You thought you were just trying to survive. You believed you were simply enduring difficulty, gritting your teeth and holding on until things got better. But I was doing something far more significant than you realized. I was preparing you. Not just preparing you to receive a blessing, but preparing you to become the kind of person who can steward a blessing without being destroyed by it. I was refining you. Not punishing you, but purifying you. Burning away the parts of your character that would have collapsed under the weight of what I am about to give you. I was strengthening you, not by removing the pressure, but by teaching you how to stand firm under pressure, how to remain stable when everything around you is shaking, how to keep your eyes fixed on me when 1,000 distractions are screaming for your attention. Every battle you fought during this season was training you for battles you will face in the future. Every tear you cried was watering seeds of joy that are about to spring up in your life. Every moment when you felt like you could not go on, but somehow found the strength to take one more step, was building spiritual muscle that you are going to need for the assignments that are coming. This season was not random. It was not meaningless suffering. It was strategic preparation, orchestrated by a Father who loves you too much to promote you into something you are not ready to handle. Think about the process a diamond goes through before it becomes the precious stone that people treasure. Carbon that will eventually become a diamond starts deep beneath the surface of the earth, subjected to intense heat and crushing pressure for extended periods of time. If you could interview that carbon in the middle of the process, it would tell you that the experience is unbearable. It would describe the weight pressing down from every direction, the heat that feels like it is going to consume everything, the darkness that seems like it will never end. But what the carbon cannot see in the middle of the process is what is being created. The very pressure that feels like it is destroying is actually transforming ordinary carbon into something extraordinary. The heat that seems cruel is actually necessary. The darkness that feels oppressive is actually the environment where brilliance is formed. You have been in that process. The pressure you felt was real. The heat was intense. The darkness was suffocating. But I was not torturing you. I was transforming you. I was taking the raw material of your life and turning it into something that reflects my glory. I was developing in you a strength that shallow seasons could never produce. I was forming in you a character that easy circumstances could never create. I was establishing in you a depth of faith that comfortable times could never cultivate. And now, as this season draws to its close, the transformation is complete. You are not the same person who entered this difficult chapter. You have been changed at a fundamental level. You have been refined. You have been strengthened. You have been prepared. and you are ready for what comes next. What comes next is victory. Not the kind of victory that barely squeaks by. Not the kind where you win, but just barely, limping across the finish line with nothing left. I am talking about complete victory, overwhelming triumph, the kind of breakthrough that is so comprehensive, so thorough, so abundantly beyond what you asked or imagined that when it manifests, you will fall to your knees and worship, because you will know without any doubt that only I could have done this. I want to address something specific that you have been carrying in your heart during the season. There have been prayers you have prayed over and over again, specific requests you have brought before my throne so many times that you have wondered if I am tired of hearing about them. Let me settle that question right now with absolute clarity. I am never tired of hearing your voice. Every time you come to me, no matter how many times you have come before with the same request, I receive you with joy. I listen with full attention. I consider your petition with the heart of a father who delights in giving good gifts to his children. Those prayers you have been praying have not fallen on deaf ears. They have not disappeared into nothingness. Every single one of them has reached my throne. Every petition has been heard. Every request has been recorded. And now, the season of answers is here. I have been working on your requests behind the scenes of your life. While you were sleeping, I was moving pieces into position. While you were going about your daily routine, I was orchestrating divine appointments. While you were fighting battles in the visible realm, I was winning wars on your behalf in the invisible realm. I have been rearranging circumstances, touching hearts, opening doors, removing obstacles, and positioning resources to flow in your direction. All of it has been happening in dimensions you cannot see with natural eyes. But very soon, what has been happening in the spiritual realm is going to break through into the physical realm. What has been true in heaven is about to manifest on earth. What I have decreed in the unseen is about to become visible in your daily experience. Your prayers have been answered, not ignored, not denied, answered. Some of them have already been answered in ways you have not yet recognized. The answer is in motion, moving toward you, but it has not yet arrived at your doorstep. Some are being answered right now in this very moment. Things are shifting in the background of your life even as you read these words. Doors are opening. Parts are softening. Resources are being released. Obstacles are being removed. And some prayers are about to be answered in such a dramatic, undeniable way that there will be no question in your mind or anyone else's mind that I am the one who did it. The timing of certain answers has been held back intentionally, not because I was ignoring you, but because I was waiting for the perfect moment. The moment when the answer would bring me the most glory. The moment when your faith would be most greatly rewarded. The moment when the testimony would have the maximum impact on everyone watching your life. That moment is here. The season is turning. What has been delayed is about to be delivered. What has been withheld is about to be released. What has seemed impossible is about to become reality right before your eyes. And when it happens, when you see the manifestation of what you have been believing for, you are going to understand why it took this long. You are going to recognize that if it had come sooner, you would not have been ready for it. You are going to see that the timing was absolutely perfect, orchestrated by a God who sees the end from the beginning and knows exactly when to release each blessing so that it accomplishes the maximum purpose in your life. I need you to understand something about the nature of seasons. Every season serves a purpose. There are planting seasons when you sow seeds without seeing immediate results. There are growing seasons when things are developing beneath the surface where you cannot see them. There are seasons of cultivation when you tend and water and protect what has been planted. And then there are harvest seasons when everything that was sown and nurtured finally comes to maturity and produces fruit that you can gather and enjoy. The mistake many of my children make is expecting harvest in planting season. They sow seeds and then immediately start looking for fruit. When they do not see instant results, they conclude that the seed was bad, the ground was wrong, or I failed to honor my promise. But that is not how it works. Harvest comes after a period of waiting. Fruit appears after a season of growth. Results manifest after a time of process. You have been in the process season. You planted seeds through your prayers. You sowed through your tears. You invested through your obedience even when obedience was costly. And all of that planting, all of that sowing, All of that investing has been working beneath the surface where you could not see it.